Welcome everyone. And house rules, I think, are from me. If you can just keep yourself on mute, I think everyone is on mute for now, so that's great. If you want to stick your cameras on, absolutely. It's nice to see everyone's faces. I can see a couple of faces in the corner right now. So it's nice to know that I'm talking to some actual humans out there. So I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. And I'll keep my camera on throughout as well, so that you know you're not talking to like an AI generated robot or something too. So yeah, keep yourself on mute for now. If you've got any questions, try and save them till the end if we can, just to keep the ball rolling. And I'm very conscious of you guys' time and taking time out of your evening. So I'll promise to keep to 30 minutes. So we're at 5 past just now. So at 35 minutes past, if I'm still talking, just hang up on me. That's absolutely fine. And I will totally respect that. Okay. I will promise to keep the presentation to that, but I will stay on afterwards if you've got any questions or you want to just have a wee talk through or maybe organise a meeting with me for after the presentation, then absolutely I'll stay on for a wee bit after to catch you guys. Okay. So what we're talking about tonight, we're talking about managing your time and commitments. And I've specifically not put time management there just as I think like that sort of key phrase that everybody uses within their workplace and sport as well, because it's not just about managing your time and good time management, as people like to say. The skill is it's more about what commitments you guys have got going on outside of hockey and how we can maximise your time to be able to enhance your performance within hockey as well. So Cameron's not here tonight, it's just myself. I'm really sorry. But yeah, just me presenting tonight. But he's definitely available to catch up with you guys afterward if you've got any questions too. So why are we here today? We are here because we're at before the season starting. I'm making the assumption that all of you have been communicated your schedule for the summer. I know that I've certainly received it now, thanks to Ilsa. And yeah, this is a good opportunity for us to just chat through what's coming up and how we can get on the front foot with planning for the summer ahead as well, and giving you guys the best shot at managing what other commitments you have going on outside of that. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about planning ahead, and I'm talking about practical examples, other tools that you may use for planning and planning ahead. We're also talking about communicating with others around your time. And what I mean with that is, who do you need to speak to? What does that communication look like? And who are the other people within your support network that you might not immediately think of as well when we talk about good communication around time management as well. We're talking about the priority scale. And when I say that, it has sort of two meanings to it. So I'm talking about what are your priorities for this summer? What's your goals as well? And I'm also talking about that sort of give and take when it comes to your priorities and how that may change through the summer when it comes to certain hotspots when you've got loads on, and then other times when things might dip a little bit and you've got a bit of space to breathe, and your priorities may change or be challenged through the summer as well. So we'll touch a little bit on that. I want to talk about types of leave that you've got. So planning in for the summer, looking at different avenues as to how you can maximise your leave, as well as different support avenues that are there to help with different types of leave as well. And then maybe some other considerations, perhaps if you're looking towards graduating uni and potential employers, and where you can get the most support from potential employers as well moving forwards. And then lastly, we're going to finish off with what Performance Lifestyle can do to support you with managing your time and commitments through this summer, and how we can start to get on the front foot with that where we can. Okay, so I'm looking for you guys to just do a wee Menti. I'm sure you've all have heard of Menti before. So can everybody see that slide? Because it looks a bit funny on my computer right now.
Partially.
Does it look okay? Or yeah, looks fine. Maybe it's just my computer, it looks a bit funny on. But the code is 44885120. And the question that I want you to answer is, what does your big picture look like at the moment? So I'm interested to just get a feel for the team across the board. I work with some of you in the West. Cameron will work with some of you in the East, but I'm conscious that there's other people in the presentation, which is great, who maybe aren't directly SIS supported at the moment. So I really want to get a feel for how many people we have in full-time employment, how many people we have in part-time, volunteering, school, uni, college, whatever it is, and if there's anybody who's in other circumstances out there as well. And that'll kind of frame the way that we'll go about the presentation. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to fill that in. I don't know why it's not letting me see it at the moment. This is such a fail from me. Apologies. I'm trying to see it in the thing. Oh, here we go. I can see it now. So at the moment, it's quite heavy towards full-time employment. Any last calls for?
This or something, because mine's not working.
Oh, really?
I keep giving the code in, but it just doesn't do anything.
Oh, sorry. This was me trying to be cocky and use technology. Is anyone else struggling with it, or is it working for everyone else? Working for everyone else? Yeah, nods. So we're quite heavily weighted towards full-time work, and that's uni I can see as well. Any last minute sort of submissions? That's really helpful. It just kind of gives me a flavour of what I'm working with, and I'm not talking all the time about volunteering or part-time work or whatnot, if that's not what it's framed towards for you guys. So thank you. Sorry if that didn't work for some of you. That's annoying, and I will do better next time. Okay, doke. So moving on to the first sort of agenda point, we're looking at planning ahead. So I think this is a good place to start off with in terms of managing your time and commitment, and a good place for talking about my assumptions as well. So as I sort of touched on earlier, my assumptions that you've received the programme from Scottish Hockey for your camps and competitions over the season. My other assumptions would be that you have other commitments outside of hockey as well. So whether that's full-time work, whether it's university, whether it's family, friends, socialising, whatever your priorities are, yeah, volunteering, etc. And my other assumption is that you all have a mobile phone or a working email to communicate with those plans with other people as well. So I would like a show of hands. I'm not going to use Menti for this again, don't worry. Show of hands just on Teams. Who has begun to plan their summer already with your various commitments that you have? I'm just opening up the thing now. I can see 6, 7. Oh, this is quite a lot. 8. Don't just put your hand up because you feel bad as well if you think other people are putting their hand up. Like, be honest if you have or haven't. Okay, we've got about just over half the room feeling pretty organised already or are starting that journey. That's great. That's better than nothing. You can stick your hands back down now. Nice one. I'll maybe come back to a couple of you later on who've stuck your hand up just to ask a few questions as to what that looks like. So yeah, planning ahead. I've put a picture of chess up there. I don't know if any of you have ever played chess before. I'm assuming, again, that some or many of you will have. And I like to think of planning ahead for your season as like a game of chess, essentially. only you're playing against hockey, you're playing against work, you're playing against uni, you're playing against family, you're playing against friends, partners, financial health, mental health, well-being. The list goes on. And the secret to a well-played game of chess is arguably planning your strategy and moves in advance where possible. Now, we know that opponents' next moves can be unpredictable, like hockey could be unpredictable or work can be unpredictable. Absolutely, I get that, but so can life as well. But with correct planning and planning in advance, we can often manipulate the game of chess or the game of life to our overall success. And even if we might have to be flexible with that plan, generally we can get a bit of a structure in there to help make it that little bit more comfortable. So planning, I don't want to teach your granny to suck eggs here. I'm sure many of you are excellent at planning already. However, planning can vary from daily to-do lists, where you've got that sort of short-term planning, right through to your sort of medium, weekly planners or schedules, season plans and whatnot, and then looking at your sort of yearly long-term planning as well. Okay, doke. So planning tools that we can use. So you've got your sort of short-term, medium and long-term, like I've touched on. And many people find it helpful to focus on the long-term goals to start off with. And that can be a good place to work back from as well. So looking at your overarching, what's the dream, what's the goal for this year, what's the goal for the next 5 years, 10 years. It can be slightly intimidating to think in that conceptually for some people. But for others, it's kind of like what you did with a dissertation if you've graduated from uni already, where you almost need to know the end result before you start to work your way back. And it can sometimes feel like you don't really get that until you start writing the dissertation, and then you go, oh, actually, I needed to know the results before I started writing this. So yeah, we need to almost determine, where do I want to get to? What's my goal, to then be able to sort of take those steps back as well. So what's a good example, do you think, of a long-term goal for one of you guys? Anyone got any long-term goals they'd like to share? Or one for the team, for example? What would be a long-term goal? Just unmute yourself. Or if you want to stick it in the chat, if you feel more comfortable doing that, that's fine. I'll start picking on people. Not scared. Okay, I'm going to start going down the list now if no one gives me a long-term goal. Ian, what's a long-term goal of the team?
Of the team, it's trying to get a medal at the Commonwealth Games was one of the long-term goals. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Can anyone give me an example of a medium-term goal that they would think would then come off the back of medaling at a Commonwealth Games? What would be a season's goal for the team to be able to consequently get to that long-term aim?
Would it be something like doing well in the competitions leading up to make sure we qualify?
Okay. Yeah. So slightly more, a slightly broader goal there, where you're saying do well in the thing, so you could kind of hone that down even further probably and go, I want to get this result, or I want to do these process goals, etc. But yeah, definitely this season specifically would be the more sort of the time frame you would be looking at. And then what would be a short-term goal? Go on, someone else. Give me an example. I'm hoping the power of silence here.
It'd be something like hitting your 9 sessions a week or something like that, making sure you got all your sessions done. Nice
one, Ian. Thank you for chipping in again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely, yeah. So another thing with planning tools is that there's no rights and wrongs when it comes to planning your time. If you feel it works for you and you're getting your stuff done with minimal stress, then that's absolutely fine. So you may not get it completely right the first or second time, but with a little bit of trial and error, you may find a model that works best for you. So examples of planning tools would be your phone calendar, if you like to have your phone on you at all times, or it might be a paper diary because you like writing stuff down rather than looking at it on a screen. It may be that you've got certain alarm clocks that go off at certain times of the day. It may be a nice big fancy Excel or a sort of project planning tool in mind for the corporate heads on the call, the project managers, etc. Or it could be something as simple as a to-do list that you write every day. So you've got those sort of medium, short and long-term structures in there as well. It's whatever works for you. Kairos might be a good example of using that for your planning as well, where you've got your training in there too. So you can kind of merge that with your life commitments as well. Okie doke. Pushing on, so I wanted to touch on your priorities, and without having to poke and prod anybody again and ask them for what their priorities are, I just would love it if when you come off this call or whilst we're in the call right now, you have a little bit to think about what your priorities are this summer and what your priorities are in your life at the moment as well. And do they align with your goals that you have? So what are you prioritizing? What are you putting all your energy into day in, day out? And does that really line up and feed the dreams, aspirations, goals that you have as well for hockey or outside of hockey as well? So again, my assumptions is that you will have other demands in your life over the summer aside from hockey. Absolutely, you're not a robot, and we all have a life outside of our sport. So whether that's work or family or other commitments, I think it's important for all of us to highlight that as a dual career athlete, your priority scales may fluctuate a bit more often within the hockey season, and it may be difficult to work with how those feelings of guilt may come in, and that can be both sides of things as well, where you go, oh, I'm not getting all my sessions done this week because I've got other priorities right now, or I am missing Granny's 80th birthday celebration afternoon tea because I've had to prioritise going along to a competition or camp this weekend. And so that guilt and those priorities and how your priorities may be challenged and your values may be challenged as well over this summer. That's a very normal feeling to have as a dual career athlete as well. So there may be times in the season where you feel that key life events outside of your hockey can't be ignored, and that's absolutely understandable. You're not a robot, as I said. You're an elite athlete, absolutely, and you do have responsibilities that come with that. But if you communicate, the key is to communicate and plan these ahead of time where you absolutely can, and communicate with the right people, whether it's Johnny, whether it's Ailsa, whether it's your club, whether it's your family, your work, etc. To find other workarounds and other solutions that can be put in place. And with persuasion and planning, absolutely, you can achieve that. Why did I put this in? I was reading it earlier on. It wasn't in my presentation until earlier on today, and it just came up on a thing that I was reading earlier. So I just, take a minute to read that, and I'm just wanting to reinforce that being an elite athlete is not always plain sailing, and you guys absolutely will know that. Again, I don't want to lecture you because you guys know this more than I do. And you know how tough it can be as well when you're challenged or you're pressed and pushed into a corner to get multiple things done from multiple different avenues at once. And it's hard to balance everything, but if you're willing to put in the work and to plan your time and commitments to work hard towards your goals, then it is doable as well. So it's about putting in the graft and make the sacrifices where you can, and yeah, with that dedication, you absolutely will be able to achieve your long-term goals. I have no doubt in my mind around that. Here's a wee prioritising tool that, yeah, wee history lesson. Eisenhower, one of the presidents, I think it's the 34th president of the United States. He was like a military general as well, and quite heavily involved in World War II success and V-Day, whatnot. Had loads of different important decisions to make towards victory for Allies in World War II, and just generally being the president as well. So he had a dual career, almost, if you like to think of it that way. And he came up with this method of decision making and prioritising tasks that needed to be done. So it kind of is on the scale of, is it urgent? Is it important? And then if it's urgent and important, get it done. Get it done now. If it's not urgent, but it's important, schedule it for a later date and then get it done when it needs done. If it's not important, but it is urgent, delegate it. Find someone else to do it. Is there a family member? Is there a friend? Is there another teammate? Is there another colleague out there who can do this task to allow you to get on with the important and urgent things? And if it's not important and it's not urgent, sack it off, get rid of it. Yeah, it doesn't need to be done. So don't focus on the things that you like to procrastinate with, and get on with the things that you do find important and urgent as well. So easier said than done sometimes, but I find this quite a helpful tool when I've got a big long to-do list and I'm going, oh my God, I've got so much to do. Just using this matrix to sort of code it through, you can get rid of quite a lot quite quickly as well and prioritise your tasks. So yeah, that's just a wee tip from me. Okie doke. So types of leave and opportunities for different avenues for you guys. So annual leave and holidays will be an absolute obvious one, and I'm sure you guys are the master of manipulating how much annual leave you can use to get the most out of your summer and your season already. If you're not and you want to get tips, I would suggest speak to your teammates first and foremost, and then we can have a wee chat as well if you want to. So yeah, I think that one kind of speaks for itself. If you want to speak to an employer about getting additional leave, or you want to pay for more leave as well, then that sometimes is something that you can explore with different employers. Part-time work options, is I've stuck that one on there because a lot of people think that I need to absolutely have a full-time job at the same time as being a full-time athlete. That may be the reality for some people, absolutely. But if you do think or want to explore an option about part-time options, then speaking to your employer or HR can sometimes be an option as well, even if it's just for a short period of time. And you maybe do have to take a pay cut with that, absolutely. Is there ways that you can be planning and saving over the year to be able to take that salary sacrifice through the summer? Potentially not an attractive option for some people. I respect that as well, but it's worth putting in there. Special leave, sabbaticals and career breaks is another option that many employers can offer as well. So if you would like to explore that option, I would say you need to be talking to your employer, if not before now, then absolutely now or this week. Make that an action for yourself to start talking to your employer about that over this summer, and see whether they offer that as a potential for you. Many employers, you'll need to have a minimum term of service for that. So you may need to be in the organisation for 2 years or 1 year before you apply for a sabbatical or a career break. And then you can potentially only do that once in another year. So it's worth thinking about your long-term planning for that and whether or not you want to take it in this year or you want to take it in a Commonwealth Games year or whichever. But yeah, definitely an option to explore. And then the fourth one, I just wanted to highlight it for any potential people who may have an elite athlete employee scheme already. Is there anybody on the call who works with an organisation who has that available to them? Not right now, no. I was talking to an athlete about this the other day. So there is there is organisations out there who do offer elite athlete employee schemes. So a couple of examples of them would be JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Baillie Giffords, the British Armed Forces are a massive advocate of elite athlete employee schemes as well. So if you're potentially thinking of a career in the British Armed Forces, then certainly they would support you playing hockey alongside that. We've got some good examples of that. Megan Reid, one of the boxing athletes, she's been on a elite athlete employee scheme for her whole entire career so far, but she's actually been on a break through her elite athlete employee scheme with the Armed Forces for 3 years now. So she's just been full-time boxing, but she is still currently an employee of the Armed Forces while she's training in the boxing ring day in, day out. And then Kay Bryson would be another one. Don't know if anyone's a modern pentathlon fan. She's not a Scottish athlete, she's an English athlete, but Kay is a great example of someone who's British Armed Forces. She's a doctor with the Armed Forces and yeah, is absolutely thriving at the moment in modern pentathlon as well, and is aiming for Paris, I believe. So yeah, some good examples out there and some food for thought as well if you're looking at jobs over the next couple of years or you're rethinking your career path as well. This is something that I would also recommend that you ask in an interview if you're looking for a new job or you're interviewing at the moment for grad schemes, etc. Then that's quite a good question to ask at the end of your interview. If you're looking for a question to ask, is do they offer elite athlete employee schemes, or is it something that they would be interested in exploring as well, and using best practice from a Morgan Stanley, a JP Morgan, etc. As a benchmark for that. Okie doke. I've got 4 minutes, so we're coming to the end of the presentation. Performance lifestyle support. I wanted to just touch on a couple of different ways that we can help if you feel like you need support for that. So for SIS athletes specifically, one-to-one support and life coaching sessions are always on the table and offered. If you would like to touch base with Cam or I, or you're not sure who to touch base with, just drop either Cam or I a message and we'll signpost you to the right person. And yeah, that's always available to you, as well as advocacy support in HR or education meetings around flexible working. That's something that PL are here to absolutely help with, whether it's your preparation for your meetings that you're having and we just kind of sit down and rehearse it with you, or it's actually going along to a meeting with you with your personal tutor or whoever it is in HR, and just sometimes having the badge on can do wonders, to be honest. For the full team as well, the other support that Performance Lifestyle can offer you are letters of support from Scottish Hockey and Sport Scotland to employers or education providers. Again, a headed paper can go a long way, or a signature from the right person, or a phone call from the right person as well to an employer or academic institution as well for academic flexibility or additional annual leave, special leave, etc. The coaching team are always there to support you as well, and I would include myself in that coaching team, but also the actual sport specific ones as well. Just do pick up the phone and have that conversation if you're really struggling. Don't sit there in silence, don't suffer in silence, don't stress yourself out. Tell people, tell them in advance if you're worried about it and worried about upcoming hotspots that are going to be in your calendar, and let's just try and work it out as best we can, or have awareness of when you are going to be stressed out and potentially not available as much. And then last one is for the full team. If you're at university, then PL support can be offered through universities as well. More often now we're seeing that PL practice is an actual job role in many universities, Strathclyde being a good example of them, and Edinburgh University as well now have a performance lifestyle practitioner dedicated to this sort of thing. So even if you're not on SIS support, you can access a performance lifestyle through other avenues as well. Okie doke, that's us coming to the end. Do we have any questions? I gave myself 1 minute to spare, but I'm absolutely happy to take questions for as long as you like. No questions? I will put on the screen for now. That's how you can contact Cam and I. Emails or phone numbers are there, WhatsApp, phone call, text message, whatever it is. Feel free to give us a bell anytime. If you'd like to start getting a bit of support with your planning, your goal setting, etc. towards the summer, then please do just reach out, and we're always happy to help. Okie doke. I'll stick the recording off now if people don't want